Nation.
Let's go, baby. Week 2.
Week 2, day 5 of camp. It's DNVR Buffs Prime Time. We're presented by Illegal Pete's, everyone's go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beers. Fun day, it sounds like.
Fun day for sure. Fun day for us. Fun day for them. Got a nice little off day yesterday. Rest the body. Come back. Like I said in our takeaways video, like you got to nail the practice as a player. You got to nail the practice before the day off, and you got to nail the practice after the day off. I've heard it so many times where you come back after a day off and the coaches say, maybe we shouldn't give you guys days off because you just can't come back with the same level of focus. Yep. You know, and obviously they have to, but you know, the players might not always know that. So they brought the energy today. That's a huge sign of a team, in my opinion, that's focused. If you can come back from an off day and kind of not have any sort of energetic letdown, that's a big sign. And, man, it feels good to just be in the swing of things.
Yes.
Like the first, you know, it's like that first day of school, first week of school, right? Usually starts on like a Wednesday or Thursday. You're just there shaking hands, seeing all your friends. What'd you do this summer? Now it's like week 2, like we're getting into algebra.
Yeah. You got to lock in now.
Yeah, it's time.
It's time. You mentioned days off, but the guys are still grinding in that facility, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Neely told us he was grinding. Like I was telling Neely on Saturday after we filmed the video, I was like, dude, tomorrow, just like don't leave your house, DoorDash all 3 meals, and just get the most rest. He's like, yep, that's what I want to do. That's the plan. Then he just puts in 8 hours at the facility.
It's not in his DNA, man.
No, it's not. So, yeah, even the days off are not days off. It's a time to go in and learn and correct your mistakes and all of those things. So they're all the way in. They're all the way dialed.
Yep. If you guys haven't watched the takeaways video yet, the massive takeaway from today, 2, Shedeur Sanders, QB1, is en fuego.
Yes.
Completely.
Yeah, man. I mean, we knew he looked good in the videos, and I just remember the other day when we talked to him, you know, when there was a press conference, when we talked to him formally, he said, or no, maybe this was
when we were talking after practice.
I can't remember. We were talking to him, and he said, I just feel like I'm in mid-season form.
Yeah, that was after practice.
That was informal.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, like, at Jackson, I kind of felt like I had to take a little while to get in the swing of things, but I feel completely dialed in right now. And that bears itself out in the tape that we've seen, you know, the little bits that we get to see every day. And it bears itself out with the stats that Neely revealed to us today.
Yes. 22 touchdowns, 0 interceptions so far, Ryan.
Yeah, and of course that needs context. I saw someone respond to us. That needs context. Well, we don't have it. But we can tell you what the context of fall camp is.
Right.
I've seen a lot of fall camps. I've seen a lot of training camps in the NFL. Of course, it's not the same as when you are starting a game and every drive starts around the 20-yard line, or maybe you get pinned back deep and that sort of thing. You got to move the ball every time. No, this is only 11 on 11. Are we counting these stats? You know, so all 22 of those touchdowns are in 11 on 11. None of that 7 on 7 stuff. Pillow fighting, as I'm sure Sean Lewis would call it. But, you know, sometimes you're starting at the 20. Sometimes you're starting at the 7. Sometimes you're starting at the 1. Sometimes you're moving the ball all the way from your own 25. It doesn't matter. It's not the 22 number that you need to think about. The 22 number just helps contextualize the 0 number.
Yes.
That's next to it. 22 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. 22 touchdowns would mean nothing at all if it was 17 interceptions or even 10.
Yeah.
22 touchdowns to 0 interceptions gives you a little bit of context. And Neely also told us 89 attempts. So, you know, that's 1 touchdown every 4 passes. Again, that is why you need that added context, is where are these passes coming from? But it's really just the only number that you really need to focus on is the 0. And that tells you, man, his decision-making, his ball placement, how often we talk about that, all of those things are completely on point.
His hand talent.
Hand talent. There we go.
I mean, this is just, it's crazy to think about, but it's true. Shedeur has actually gotten better in multiple areas. You know, talk about hand talent. His leadership, both on and off the field, I feel like has gone up too. He's just absolutely killing it. He's got all these targets now to throw to, and he said that at media day. You know, I can kind of just go wherever I want because I've got so many targets. You heard Coach Sean Lewis gush about Javon Antonio, talk about Omarion Miller. I mean, they have like a whole, like a, you know, second teams are usually like guys below number ones. They truly have a whole second team of receivers, it sounds like. And from what Neely said today, sounds like Caleb Mathis had a big day too.
Yeah. Those receivers, man, they've got a lot of guys. And I think they're, you know, Coach Flea, shout out to him for just giving us the top 4 running backs.
Yeah.
I also think there's a clear top 4 wide receivers.
Yes.
But there's so many guys that can go in there. You know, you have Tarvaris Dawson, who can go in there. And
Jalen Ellis just showed up.
Run you a streak. Jalen Ellis, 3 days late?
No, he was on time.
Okay, all right. Are you sure?
Neely told me that no one showed up late.
Okay. So it was just the video came out late of him saying, "This is my first day here." Okay, that makes sense. Sorry, twerking accusations dropped. Anyways, this wide receiver group has a lot, but I also like that you have a clear top 4 in Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn, Javon Antonio, and Zay Weaver.
Let's talk about it because the chat's mentioned it. We've seen it on Twitter too. Are you worried about the defense because of how good Shedeur is doing so far?
No. There's no defense for ball placement.
Right. Yeah. It beats great coverage almost every time.
Yes. And there's no defense for decision making.
Yeah.
You know, if you are making the correct reads and putting the ball in the right place, it can't be defended.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's something I've been talking about with Shedeur nonstop. Of course, as a defense, you want to get him, right? You got to get a pick. And some people mentioned the pick that Travis had covering Zay Weaver.
Yeah.
But that's a one-on-one throw. Quarterbacks doesn't have any. There's no decision making allowed there. He doesn't just get to like spike it in one-on-ones. He's got to throw the ball and let those boys fight for it. So yeah, as a defense, I'd love to hear them say, okay, we finally got Shedeur, you know, and Shilo can, you know, talk his talk.
Yep.
But I don't worry about the defense. I think that this offense is made to get the ball out quick. It's made for Shedeur to be able to make fast decisions, and you're not going to be able to get him a lot because he's getting the ball out fast and putting it in the right place.
I mean, what Big LT says, iron sharpens iron. And when you have a quarterback that is as good as Shedeur is, or as good as most of the Pac-12's quarterbacks are, they're just going to win more.
Mm-hmm.
They're in more control of things on the field. And offenses are kind of designed around, you know, let's see what the quarterback can actually do, put them in these situations, and they're going to succeed a lot when they're really good players. It does sound like that the offense again came out ahead of the defense today. But again, that's kind of just due to Shedeur Sanders, I think.
Yeah, and we didn't directly ask Neely, but he did say, you know, Coach Prime huddled up the defense mid-practice to get some things corrected. I just think that this offense obviously came in with a head start because of the relationships that Shedeur has been building throughout the offseason. Most of those wide receivers had already been with him and worked with him throughout the whole, you know, break and the PLPs. And I just think that they took that head start and aren't going to look back.
Exactly. I mean, look at the defense. How many guys had to come in just during the summer? You know, Jaquez and Omarion Cooper didn't show up until then. Derek McClendon, Demoy Kennedy was still recovering. Tons of guys. So no need to be concerned about the performance of the defense. But Bishop Thomas.
Well, and real quick, this is a great comment from, is that say Lil Dre check?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. It's very tiny letters. Y'all really think it's Coach Prime team DBs will be trash? You crazy.
Yep.
Exactly. You know, he's going to get those boys dialed in.
Yes.
And we don't know how many times Shedeur has been sacked. You know, we got one sample.
Right.
But, you know, just because he's throwing touchdowns doesn't mean the coverage is trash. Like I said, no defense for a perfect ball. And you see some of the ones like that he's throwing to Travis. He gets Travis in a one-on-one matchup. He throws it to the back shoulder. Travis jumps to the clouds, comes down, and, you know, makes the play. Same thing with Javon Antonio. Like, we're seeing these guys make great plays in one-on-one coverage with guys who are there on them. It's not like he's just throwing, you know, broken coverage bombs every
Right.
play.
Well, and just to go touch on the secondary one more time, the best corner is playing offense still. And we've seen that video Darius put out.
It's kind of switching back and forth, but he is playing a lot of offense.
But that video Darius put out where Coach Prime is exclusively working with the cornerbacks, Travis isn't there. And honestly, does Travis really need extra coaching? He's so natural at the position.
My only note on that is I wish Travis was there because of Coach Prime's current situation. He can't display what he's talking about, with his foot.
Right. Use Travis, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to have Travis be in there
sure.
to actually show the guys what he's talking about and execute it properly.
Yes. But Bishop Thomas, though, he was Neely's player of the day on Saturday.
Back to back?
Back to back. We watched his tape, and I think out of all the tape we watched this summer, that one was the most, impressive.
Yeah, dude, he's a violent player on the
So
defensive
quick.
line. He's quick. He is. Let me just tell you this, man. I know he's young, so this is obvious. Ooh, boy, are we at the beginning of the road for Bishop Thomas.
Yep.
His ceiling is so high. And once he's in this strength and conditioning program for an extended period of time, and he's able to develop in that way, and just, he's young, become a man, and get that man strength that guys get when they become an upperclassman in football. He's going to be nasty, but back-to-back player of the day, and we've only been doing defensive player of the day twice.
Yep.
So he's got both of them.
Look out, man.
That is good news for this team.
And he's a big body, too. People worried about the interior depth of this defensive line. If Bishop Thomas continues along this trajectory, and what Neely always says is its consistency with him.
Yep.
The highs are very high. It's just kind of building it up, or I guess his pace, for lack of a better term, just a play-in, play-out basis.
And that's a lot of times, and that I'm not necessarily saying this is 100% the case. A lot of times that comes down to conditioning. And, he's been here a little while now, but the better conditioned you are, the easier it is to bring the maximum effort every play, right? You don't just not give effort because you don't feel like it.
Right.
You don't give effort because you're tired.
Yeah.
Neely saying that they're going in 6-play increments. And after his first one today, he had a couple good plays, and then he was challenged. Give us all 6 next time. What did he do? He went out there and he gave them all 6. So that tells you he's close to a breakthrough in that regard. And if this team were to have a player break out,
Truly break out.
and become a name
Yes.
on the defensive line, that means really, really good things for the quality of this team. Because it's the one place where we're like, okay, there's some guys in there. They brought in some size,
Right.
but there's no one who excluding Jordan Dominic because he's more of an edge. On that defensive line, there's a lot of question marks. We love Shane Cokes.
Yes.
Shane Cokes is coming from Dartmouth. You can go through. Each guy has one little thing next to him. If one of those guys becomes a star, watch out.
Yep. All right, let's talk about what happened in the press conferences today. But real quick, shout out to our friends at Circle K. We're excited to partner with our friends at Circle K. Check out your local Circle K for the best coffee, beer, snack selection. Bless you. And premium gas. Look out for freebies and giveaways down the road. Best, I guess, gas station stop on a way to a CU football game at a Circle K. What are you grabbing?
Ooh, on the way to a game, what am
Yeah.
I grabbing? I don't know, probably a 40.
There you go. You can get that and all that good stuff over at Circle K.
Steel Reserve.
Thanks, Circle K, for sponsoring DNVR. And visit your nearest Circle K to pick up all your favorite finds. Also, shout out to the Pac-12's favorite barbecue sauce, Shedeur's number 2, man. Soon to be the Big 12's favorite barbecue sauce.
Yes. Also, do we need to bring it up? I don't know if we're going to have this opportunity, but do we need to bring it up to Media Day on Friday? Let the actual players try it?
May as well.
We can hit up Chef Solomon. Maybe he can put him
Hell
on some
yeah.
wings for us.
Some more Shedeur's content coming at you guys. We've got Media Day on Friday. Coach Prime's going to speak again. We'll have a bunch of player interviews then, too. But you can get your hands on Shedeur's number 2 barbecue sauce at plbse.com. Use the code ALLCITY, all caps, all one word at checkout. You'll get 10% off your order of number 2 barbecue.
We got to pay off that headline, Jake.
It's paid off.
Okay, so the headline is, what is the headline again? The most impressive thing about
yes.
Coach Prime's Colorado Buffaloes through 1 week of camp.
Yep.
Honestly, I came up with this idea before I found out that Shedeur Sanders threw 22 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. So that might be the actual answer to this question. But this makes me sound old. It's because I kind of am getting there. I've been covering this game for a while now.
Yeah.
Over a decade, covering this team, the Broncos, sometimes both at the same time like I have been right now. So I've seen a lot of football teams. And after 1 week of camp, Jake, I am ready to say that I've never seen a team with this good of energy around it, with this good of vibes, for lack of a better term, around the team.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that is just in the locker room, the guys hanging out, those vibes, immaculate. Whether it is the energy when they're walking off the field.
Yeah.
You're not seeing a lot of guys like hanging their heads, like completely drenched in sweat, dead, just like, oh, this sucks. That's after they walk up a big hill. They're still smiling, they're talking, they're interacting with each other. And then this is the one that's the biggest to me. I've never seen a team respond to their coaches quite like this one does. Those guys are locked in when those coaches are talking. I mean, eye contact the entire time. So you combine all of that together, and I think the best word I can use is buy-in. I think this team has the most buy-in, whether that's to their teammates and to their coaches and to the overall culture that Coach Prime is building, and of course to Coach Prime himself. This is the best buy-in I've ever seen from any team I've covered. And that, to me, is extremely impressive because it shows the power of Coach Prime, I think. Everyone has this underlying trust of whatever he's doing. Whether that is Coach Prime brought in Sal Sunseri to coach his defensive linemen, the players included. They say, okay, if Coach Prime got this guy in, and obviously they respect Coach Sal individually too, but there's just kind of this idea, the strength staff. Everyone has this feeling of like, the people that are here for a reason.
Yes.
And I trust Coach Prime to have brought in the right people. And it has just created this beautiful energy, this beautiful vibe around the team of just pure buy-in. Everyone's sails are pointed in the same direction.
Only thing I'll add to that is something that I've asked a lot of players about recently. It's just how much fun they're having. You can tell by that when you watch the videos, just as you know, there may be some guys, kind of wanting to move up the depth chart and stuff, but it doesn't feel like people are looking over their shoulder like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Like the player-led culture that they've created has really settled in, and the players have really, I guess, embraced it and taken it upon themselves to what you said, kind of follow in with the assistant coaches that Coach Prime has brought in. The players are realizing they've been brought in for a reason, and they're starting to take the reins and just kind of lead this team where they're supposed to go.
Yeah, it's really, really fun to watch. Even just from, I guess I wouldn't call us from an outside perspective, but we're not putting on a jersey and a helmet every day. But from the vantage point that we have, it is really fun to watch this team kind of just grow and mesh together.
All right, let's talk about, or you asked me something before we went live. Do you want to touch on that real quick before we get to the press conferences?
I already forgot.
You asked me if I'm excited for.
Oh, this is just a random thought that I had. Then I was like, wait, save that for the show. Who are you more excited about, Shedeur Sanders or Travis Hunter?
I'm gonna say Travis still.
Nice.
I understand why you and all these longtime Buffs fans would be so excited about Shedeur, but Travis Hunter is he's rare.
Yeah.
In every sense of a football player, a person, I guess a figure and culture and stuff, because he's going to be that eventually. I'm just excited to see what he does, see him continue to blossom down the road.
I love that. We have, one of us feels that way about Travis. Obviously, we're both really excited about both of these guys. But for me, it would definitely be Shedeur. I just love good quarterback play. I love good
Makes everything
offense.
so easy.
I love watching a guy diagnose the defense. I don't think Bucky was just saying this, but I loved the clip from Well Off last week when Shedeur got up to the line and checked.
Yeah.
And Bucky goes, "Uh-oh, he's checking."
He's at his best.
That's when he's at his best. I was like, that's a hell of a compliment.
Then he threw a touchdown.
You know who's also at his best when he's checking? Peyton Manning.
Yep.
And that's not a direct comparison, but what you don't want to hear about your quarterback is, he's checking. This guy doesn't know what the hell he's doing when he checks. Yeah. If he can look at the defense and say, "Oh, I see what you guys are doing here. I know exactly what to counter it with," that means the offense is really clicking for him.
And it just shows how much he's grown already and how much he already trusts Sean Lewis and Sean Lewis trusts him. If they're allowing him at this point already to kind of just change the play at the line of scrimmage, I mean, that's a beautiful place to be in early August.
Yep. But Travis, of course. I mean, I believe him. I truly believe him when he says every day, "No, I want to play every snap."
Yeah.
I think he believes he can do that.
I think he does too.
They're not going to quite let him do that, I don't think. But he can do that. And I like, the dude never looks tired.
No.
All the workout videos, all the running, all the condition, he never looks like even a little bit tired.
And he's always joking and doing his little dance or something.
Yes, yes.
All right, let's talk about Travis first, since we already went there. Mentioned, his route running has been the area that he thinks he's improved the most this offseason, which is massive. And, I think going back to, I guess, December, January, February, right before practices started in the spring, it's probably the reason why they just had him at wide receiver. Get more detailed off the line, in your routes, just all the little things, to create that little extra separation at the top of your routes. And he's already a naturally gifted player as it is. Now he's adding technique to his game.
I know. And route running is one of those things where you can never master it.
Right.
You can always keep getting better. That's got to be fun for him.
Yeah.
It's kind of like golf, right? You can never beat the game of golf. There's just you can always get one stroke better. And I think that's kind of the case with route running. You can always improve a little bit with route running.
Yep. I don't really know what else to say about Travis's press conference today. He said Shedeur's got a lot better in terms of accuracy, being a leader. But you guys can watch the video.
I wish we knew who we were talking to each day.
Yeah.
Not for you and I, but for the rest of the media.
Yeah.
So they could prepare.
They need it.
Obviously with Travis Hunter, you probably shouldn't necessarily need to prepare. But those guys, a lot of these people, I'm going to defend them a little bit. This isn't their job to cover Colorado every day. Not all of them. You guys know the ones who are.
Yes.
But a lot of these guys get tasked with, "Hey, can you go up to Colorado? We need a quick piece on this, that, or the other thing."
Right.
So then they show up. They don't know who they're going to talk to. We did know we were going to talk to Flea today.
Mm-hmm.
But then a player gets up there and there was a time earlier in camp where it wasn't Travis Hunter. And it was a person who the staff had to say their name for most of the people to even know who they were. And then they didn't have time to Google or whatever. So I wish they knew, just so then I could say, "Hey, you guys need to prepare a little better before you come to the press conference." Unfortunately, they don't get that luxury. But the Travis one was a bit tough.
It was a rough one today. Coach Flea, though, I feel gave out a lot of information. We can start with...
He talks like a football coach.
He does. He's been coaching for a long time, and just another great example of the insane just experience and pedigree that CU has on this staff.
I don't think that he loves giving out praise.
No.
I think he probably hates the word hype. And he gave some guys, compliments today, but there was no hype coming from Coach Flea.
Nope. Gave out his top 4 running backs, so do we want to hit that?
Yes. As it stands now.
Alton McCaskill, Kvassier Smoke, Dylan Edwards, and Anthony Hankerson.
Yes.
No Syvion Wilkerson.
Or Charlie Offord,
Charlie.
Everyone's favorite walk-on. And he did say those guys are right there with the rest of them. But there's your top 4, and that is a formidable top 4. And it's there's so much there to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Kvassier Smoke, I think, is probably number 1 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Alton McCaskill's still wearing a yellow jersey, so it's hard to fully decide where he's going to be. Dylan Edwards, of course, your game breaker. And Old Hank survived the exodus and in the mix right now, in the conversation.
That's a dog right there, man.
Yep.
He's going to be fun to watch. You guys are going to like watching him. On Alton McCaskill, he said he's about a week away, but he also said, we brought him here to be the guy. So wasn't giving out praise. Mm-hmm. That's quite a lot of praise, though.
It's a gem.
Yep. What else do we got? He was asked about Charlie Oftenball. Talked about his attitude. Was asked about him getting a scholarship. Said he thinks it's something that could happen soon.
He said he hopes so.
Yes.
And also said, I think the question was, do you think you guys will give him a scholarship? And he said, we're not giving him anything. He would earn that scholarship. Right. And if you earn it, it can't be taken away from you.
Mm-hmm. But just, I mean, obviously Alton's still kind of working back, trying to get his confidence back. But he looks good when he's on well off and like out there running and stuff.
Yes,
so.
For sure. And he's taking contact.
Yes. He got popped.
Yes. Also, isn't that the point of the yellow jersey?
Yes, I know. You would think, but... I don't know. Maybe I'm sure he probably was upset in the moment, but after the fact, he's probably felt good to get hit again because he probably hasn't been hit in 18 plus months ish.
I don't know exactly what yellow means. Does it mean slow? Like is red? Don't touch him at all.
Last year it was the blue jersey, so I don't know.
And the blue jersey now means I play both
ways, I guess.
I'm just curious because I feel like if it is, you're not supposed to hit him to the ground.
Right. Well,
then I give him a break for taking that hit because he's not expecting to get hit that hard.
Yeah. Anything else from Coach Flea or Travis?
Coach Flea, very honest answer about Dylan Edwards.
Yes.
And
mentioned he's working with the receivers.
I asked him the same question that was asked to Coach Prime about Dylan Edwards. Mm-hmm. Has Dylan Edwards met your expectations? Coach Prime, of course, said he's been better than we expected. Yeah. He's blown away our expectations. He's incredible, all that stuff. And it was very interesting to see Coach Flea really answer the question all the way down to the details. Has he met your expectations? And he just went through all the things that he wants Dylan to improve on. And it was really cool to hear. Obviously, Dylan is so young, so he has a lot to learn about this level. And it was such a beautiful peek into how these guys are being coached. Not just being coached as players, being coached as men, being coached as students. And he just went through, hey, I want him to be better at this. I want him to be better at managing his time. Mm-hmm. I want him to understand this better and pass protection. I mean, he just went through it all, and it was just like, man, these coaches are for real.
Yeah. Well, you just realize, kind of in that moment, how young Dylan actually is.
Yeah.
When he talked about it, like he hasn't even gone to school yet, basically, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the comments. You guys are on fire today. Our guy David was in here, who we met at practice today.
Oh yeah.
And then 406 goalie wanted us to talk about the Shilo hit.
Did you see the reverse angle that Shilo put on his
from
story?
Yeah. It looks even better from there.
I just love it. Shilo is absolutely a keep your head on a swivel guy. You can't go in soft. You can't, go in lightly. You have to always be prepared for contact when Shiloh's around. And I was telling you this, man. I think Shiloh's going to be really good.
Yep.
Like, there's so much talk about Shedeur and Travis, and rightfully so. Those guys are, quote unquote, the faces of the program right now. I think it's fair to say, they were the media day representatives. Mm-hmm. I think Shiloh's flying under the radar a little bit from a this circle perspective. We all know more about Shilo than the average person, but I just mean like from maybe the local media, some of the national media that talks about Colorado. I think he's going to be one of those guys where people are like, man, why didn't we talk more about Shilo transferring to Colorado?
I mean, it was kind of hurt last year, so didn't really get to show it last year when JSU was a juggernaut. So he is, I think, in multiple aspects under the radar for sure.
And I told you on the drive down here, aside from the obvious ones, and really just maybe even aside from just Travis Hunter, I think he moves like an NFL player.
Yep.
as much as anyone on the team.
He looks great. He's getting in and out of his transitions very quickly right now.
Flies. He's really, I don't know. And I think he is kind of attached at the hip with Coach Kelly.
Mm-hmm. That's his
said,
guy.
Yes. And he said in one of the videos, I think, gosh, I watched so many videos this weekend. I have no idea which one it was. But he said, I'm trying to talk to Coach Kelly every day after practice and asking him how he likes things done. Because if I know exactly the way that he likes things done, then I can't ever get yelled at. And I just love that. Like, I love that he wants to know exactly what he's expected of him so that he can't screw it up.
Yep. Shilo is he's gonna have a year, man.
Don't sleep.
All right, let's talk about Big 12 stuff really quickly. Shout out to our friends at Breckenridge Brewery. It's back, Ryan. The beer of the month, the Mountain Beach Sour, baby. Let's go.
It's Jake.
The summer of Jake.
Yeah, it is. This is summer of Jake.
Yeah,
Everything's coming up, Jake.
They snubbed your Strawberry Sky, man.
I know.
Maybe September?
Maybe.
Football season beer?
Yeah, it is. It's an all-season beer, in my opinion.
But Breckenridge Brewery has a beer for any occasion. We've got tons of them here on tap at the DNVR bar. We had Friday Night Live on Friday. We're going to have the Broncos one, I think, this week. We got a bunch more throughout this month. So come hang out, get a Breckenridge Brewery beer, and use their beer locator at breckbrew.com, and you can find a Breck Brew near you. Also, shout out to Backus and Shanker. When you get hurt, Backus and Shanker are here to help. They've been helping Colorado families win for more than 25 years. No fees to speak with them about your case. No fees while they work on your case. And no fees unless they win your case and win money for you. They've won over $1 billion for their clients. They help with all kinds of injured cases where you weren't at fault. Car accidents, motorcycle, rideshare, pedestrian, trucks. We can even help if you're injured at work. Smash that Shedeur line, 222-2222, to find out if you have a case for free. Backus and Shanker wins.
Jake, where's
What?
Brendan Gant?
I don't know. I can tell you Tyler Brown is in the facility, though. Was a little under the weather again.
Yes.
He's fine, though.
Yes.
He's there.
I saw there's like threads about this on the message boards. Like, where is Tyler Brown? DNVR said they shook his hand the other day. Like, Tyler Brown is there.
He is there.
Present and accounted for.
Who else? Someone else asked about Cormani, too. Cormani's doing all right. He's coming along.
I can also tell you this. I haven't shaken Brendan Gant's hand personally.
Yeah.
But he is on the roster.
Yes.
On the depth chart.
Yes. He's there in almost every regard, but showing up on a well-off video. So, Bucky, help us out, please.
115
help
players.
me out. Okay, let's talk about Big 12 stuff. There was a report that came out, I believe, was it yesterday or Saturday? I can't remember. I think it was Shearer, actually, said that the Big 12 has reached out for preliminary talks to Oregon State, and I believe, was it Stanford or was it Washington State as well?
I think Washington State.
So, and then I saw someone else refute that report not too long after. Then today, the ACC is apparently reaching out to Stanford and Cal. But the Big 12 has been adamant about this fourth time zone. There are 5 teams in the Pacific time zone now who are very, very available to be picked and change over to the Big 12. San Diego State, Stanford, Cal, Oregon State, and Washington State. So I guess let's start here. Which 2 do you think would be the best addition in terms of football to the conference?
Oregon State, number 1.
Yes.
This is going to sound crazy. Washington State, number 2.
Interesting.
I don't trust Stanford and Cal to value football in that way.
Cal has a lot of issues right now.
Yes. Yeah, they're in like ridiculous amounts
Leading
of debt.
the nation in debt.
That is insane. I mean, you maybe take Stanford, and you asked me football.
Yes.
You maybe take Stanford just for the brand name. I don't think Stanford is so not a Big 12 school.
I know.
Nothing about Stanford says Big 12.
Right.
So I don't know. I just have a hard time imagining that one work, but they certainly have a much bigger brand. than Washington State. Mark says Oregon State and San Diego State. I could get on board with that. Washington State obviously doesn't have a lot of great history. They have, like Ryan Leaf, Gardner Minshew, and Luke Falk.
Yeah.
But I think you can make the case for San Diego State just merely from like a vibes perspective.
Right. Southern California.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like Pullman, Washington, well, a solid college town, doesn't do much for you. You can also make the case, though, in schools and conferences love to do this. You go to Oregon State and you're like, see, that's our Portland market. Not really true. And then you say, oh, we'll just take Washington State. That's our Seattle market.
Yeah.
Also not really true.
Right.
You get a little share of it, and maybe it helps you in the next TV deal down the road. But Oregon State's really the only one that moves the needle for me from a football perspective.
I agree with you.
And they have real fans.
Yes, for sure.
Shout out Clinton Connor.
Just to go back to Cal real quick, though, they almost feel like in a situation where they may have to fold their football program. They are extremely unattractive in terms of realignment. They haven't been competitive in years, decades. And now they've got all this debt, that they've taken on just from running programs, stadium maintenance, and all this Pac-12 stuff that's unfolded the last few years. They just feel like in such a dire situation that who would find them attractive? And what are you getting from Cal?
A lot of people say Stanford should go independent, a la Notre Dame. And I forget who we were talking to, but one of the media members that were there today, I think it was actually, actually, I don't know, was saying Notre Dame has their own TV deal because people all over the country want to watch Notre Dame. And that's so true. That is absolutely, positively not true of Stanford. No one is saying I got to catch the Stanford game this weekend, unless guess what? They're playing Notre Dame,
right,
or USC or whoever,
or they have Andrew Luck at quarterback,
right, which hasn't been in years. Christian McCaffrey was kind of the last attraction for them.
Bryce Love a little,
not really.
No.
So I don't know. I don't think they can do that. I don't think that a network is going to give them enough money to sustain their entire program to televise Stanford games.
Right.
Certainly not NBC the way Notre Dame has it.
Right. And then SDSU, I think if anything, they would be the pick just because of what your Mark has said about basketball and how much he values that. Football, they've been okay in the Mountain West for a while. I can't remember the last time they won 10 wins.
Yeah.
It's been 5-ish years at the most, or at the least, But if anything, I would probably say what you said, Oregon State and Washington State from a football perspective. If you want this to be a better football conference, those are the two teams you got to get. That makes your travel nightmarish, though.
Yeah. They're both Big 12 style schools,
yeah,
too.
Shootouts teams, right?
Yeah, and just small college towns.
Yes.
Kind of blue collar in the way they go about things. So we'll see. One thing that should be noted, they would not get the ESPN share. Is that right? One of the two.
I think it's the Fox share.
Okay. Either way, they have a deal with ESPN and Fox that adds up to $31.7 million per year. If they were to add more, they would only get half of that, or one of the two shares, because the other network has not yet approved going that big, adding that many teams. So in that regard, I'm I'm good with 16, where we are right now.
Right. I do feel like at least the Pac-4, as they stand right now, the 4 remaining schools, they got to figure it out quickly, because I think that teams are going to see them as vulnerable and go after their recruits very, very soon.
Ooh, everyone's already doing that. I guarantee it.
But you got to get on it, because Stanford they've got a pretty impressive 2024 class. A lot of guys, 4 stars, nationally ranked, top 300 plus. If they're not playing in a Power 5 conference or they're enrolling to not play in one, why would they stay at Stanford? I mean, the degree, of course, is why you go to Stanford. So maybe that does win out for a few guys, but it feels like there's a lot of flip potential for them at least, and maybe Oregon State too. They've been recruiting at a higher level as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. Let's go get them.
There you go. Shout out to our friends at Shady Rays. Take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead. It's been beautiful out here in Colorado the last week or so. Shady Rays is great. If you lose or break your pair, they'll replace them, no questions asked. Even if you don't like the pair of Shady Rays when they show up to your door, you have 30 days and they'll replace those, no questions asked. You can shop their entire collection at the Park Meadows Mall or go online to shadyrays.com. Use code DNVR. You'll get 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses, and you can try for yourself. The shade's rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. And then I'm just going to plug the website, thednvr.com. A new Prime Tracker's out.
Oh, yeah.
Details every day after practice. As soon as I'm done with this show, going to work on that and get that up. You'll see that on Twitter, but check it out because there's some details in there that Neely isn't talking about, that we're not tweeting about. So there's stuff that you guys need to learn on there.
Let's go. Some scoops.
Yep.
Check it out.
Question time.
Let's get to it.
What's up, John? You guys think they'll add some more guys before or during the season with this many scholarship spots still open? We'll love to see another big DT for depth purposes at least.
Are they out there?
Curtis said 110, 115, whatever he said on Friday.
But I just mean, are the players that you want, is a big DT out there?
I mean, yeah, it's August, man.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot that you can add at this point. And Coach Prime basically, remember, we always say Coach Prime tells you what happened before it happens. He told you, I'm going to bank some scholarships so I can add more recruits in the offseason. So he's planning on bringing in a big class.
Wayne. Are we going to have Bishop Thomas, Kyrie Maines, and Savell Smalls for at least 2 more years? Or we are going to have them for at least 2 more years. Can you imagine them next year after a full year with Coach Mo? Ooh, your thoughts.
Beasts.
Yes.
Savell Smalls is already built like a brick house.
Kyrie Maines is big too.
Yep. Yeah, there's some big guys on here. So keep an eye out for those guys. In that strength and conditioning program, they are going to turn into just rocks.
Yep. Best is yet to come for those dudes. G3, how's Cormani doing out there? He's a freshman adjusting to Power 5 football.
Yeah.
He's on his way.
He is all, in my opinion, and this is a little bit exaggerated, he's all instinct at this point. He's all, he's just such an athlete that technique has never been something I think that's been all that important to him. Mm-hmm. Not from a lack of caring, but just when you are him and you can go out there and just stay with anyone that you ever play against without having to get into the finer details of things, you don't necessarily have to. You're also not, when you're in high school, you don't have the the advice of Coach Prime, the best cornerback of all time, around the corner for you. So for me, he has so much athletic ability, so much talent, so much length. He has everything you need except for the technique at this point.
Yep.
Well, guess what? He's got the best person in the world to teach him that. So he's going to get it. And Coach Prime is going to coach him very closely to make sure he does. And when that happens, you're going to see an unreal jump for him in terms of how well he looks out there.
Yep. Patience with him. Patience is the key there.
And I don't even know if patience is necessarily the word. Because I think he could go out there and cover
for sure
TCU today.
Yeah.
But just wait.
Yep.
Just watch.
Robert, did you see Mike Westbrook's parting message to the team? Did you watch that?
Was that in the meeting room?
Yeah, that was the elephant and the dog story.
Yes. Great.
Yeah, amazing. A little weird when it first got brought up, but then he goes into it, and then you're like, my guy's cooking here.
Yes. Those are the best kind of messages, though, because you hear it and you're like, what?
What is he saying?
And you have to lock in to be like, where's this going?
Yeah, that was great, though, man. Who's the next CU legend? That's with the team. We had Cordell for a while.
Yep.
Westbrook. Hagen's on campus.
Who is next? Maybe Philip Lindsay.
There you go. Let's get Phil some time of practice. Do you know when the full pads are coming? Jabriel asks. They had them on last week. I think it's just they have Shells days. They haven't
yet put on pants, football pants.
I mean, they're hitting out there though.
But that is like when you go full pads,
right?
That involves putting on your uniform. So they've had shoulder pads and helmets on.
IMCC. What other freshmen do you think will start or get playing time? Omarion Miller.
Yep. God, he looks big.
I know.
Especially when he jumps.
Yeah. He had a great touchdown catch on Welloff.
Yep.
That little toe tap right on the back line.
Yep, he's a beast.
Who else?
I don't know.
I mean, Hopkins looks good out there.
You.
Bless you. Hopkins routes, I think, have been impressive to me.
Yep.
You mentioned Stoutmeyer.
Yeah. He looked really clean in that technique video that Darius put out, Coach Prime coaching the corners. He was maybe as good as anyone at kind of getting down what Coach was saying. So I could see him playing.
And then Kofi Taylor Barracks.
Yes.
Throw his name out there.
Yes.
So there you go. Watch out for those guys. What's up, Big TZ? You two been around the team. Do you feel the O-line is nasty enough?
They're getting there.
That's another kind of process, I think, with this team, though.
Yep.
Not like guys have to be coached and like become Power 5 offensive linemen. You have 5 positions. You have to find out who is best in each position and which combo works the best. It takes a while.
And it is tough, man, to play for Coach OB.
Yes.
But when you come out of there, you're gonna be nasty.
Mm-hmm.
If you are gonna play for Coach OB, you are gonna be nasty.
Yep.
So I think they will be eventually at that level.
Maestro, other than Coach Prime, who would be a dream interview for DNVR?
I mean, Shedeur and Travis were, the other kind of white whales.
I was gonna say Phil.
Philip Lindsay?
Yeah.
We can make that happen for sure.
Klatt?
Yep. I was thinking on the team, I just want to sit here and talk about offensive football with Sean Lewis for an hour.
Bartoloni would be great too, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially because of just the quality of this receiving core, top to bottom.
Yep. Would love to get Bucky one day as well.
Yep. Yeah. That's about it for now. Zay would be good.
Yep.
T. Lodi, Jake and RK, have you seen the video of Shedeur throwing about 40 or 50 yards into the trash can? Did you see that one? Oh my God.
Yes. It's so funny just how dumb people are online. Like I tweeted that. I was like, I've been trying to tell everyone everyone that will listen about this man's accuracy. Some guy's like, wake me up when he does something that I can't do. I'm like,
there's always something to say.
I'll give you 50 tries, bro. You won't even get close.
No.
To do it from that distance. And remember, you got to hit the right angle, too.
That shit is hard as hell.
Yes. Yes.
Go try right now.
Well, I've watched NFL players throw that for, 10 minutes without getting it.
Yes.
So, yeah, that was sick. I love that video. Great job. Great camera work, by the way, too.
Yep. Our guy Shaquille Oatmeal's back with a super chat. Have we heard any news on Gant? I will ask tomorrow for you guys. How about that?
There you go.
I will ask specifically about him.
There you go.
Thank you for the super chat. Connor, what's up? Do we get new unis this year? Helmets? Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah. Stay tuned.
Doyle. What can you see Dylan Edwards looking like in his 3rd year after being with Prime for years? Whatever DeAnthony Thomas was for Oregon.
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to be sick.
Yep. Backup QB insight.
We haven't asked Neely about this.
We can do it tomorrow.
But we can touch on it. It sounds like Gavin Cold, from what I heard, is holding his own a little bit.
Athlete, big arm, Has some college experience.
He looks like a quarterback.
He does, actually, yeah.
And you see just his physical presence is like, oh, that guy's a quarterback.
I will say, I think it's Staub on the well-off videos. Been throwing some dimes.
Yep.
Some tight window ones. What's up, Chris, with the super chat? Thoughts on Coach Flea confirming Dylan will line up at wide receiver some and saying even though there's a clear top 4 running backs, they want 2 to emerge as the guys. Who will it be? He spoke highly of Smoke. I mean, Alton, of course.
Smoke and Alton, I think, if you're looking for 2 guys, are the favorites right now, with Dylan being the guy that is always involved.
Watch out for Hank.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. I can't remember who posted the video of like the running backs. I think it might have been Neely on the pregame show. His feet are like as fast as Dylan's, and he's 50 pounds heavier, I think.
Yep. Yeah.
Watch out for that guy.
All of them have a great chance.
Yep.
But he said they brought Alton in to be the guy.
Yep.
Smoke right now looks like he is, at least interim guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone's got a chance.
Well, Smoke's got the graduate transfer thing too. These guys didn't graduate transfer here to sit on the bench or not play.
He's going to get carries for sure.
Yes.
But Dylan Edwards is going to factor in, man.
Oh, a lot. What's up, Luis? In your binge of videos this weekend, did you see John Snelson's latest masterpiece?
Yes, and it sounds like it was his staff that took on a lot of that.
Yep.
Some of the student guys, which is really cool that they get the opportunity to make stuff like this. The cinematography in those videos is unmatched in the rest of the country.
Yep.
It's pretty cool because as Buffs fans, we get the raw stuff from Unk, from Bucky, from Darius. That's like the raw behind the scenes iPhone footage. And I know those guys have nice cameras now too.
Right.
And then we also get these beautiful, like award-winning quality cinematography-esque, content from the actual creative team there. And it's the best of both worlds. I love it all. So keep it coming. I can't get enough Colorado football content right now. Like, when this show ends, I'm like you guys. I go onto YouTube and I watch Buffs shows.
Same.
Like, that's what I do when I go home now. So the only one that I don't watch is this one because I was already there.
The first thing I do when I go home and I sit on the couch, I load up YouTube, and there's always a well-off, Reach the People, or the pregame show first in my recommendations.
Yep, that's exactly.
Every day.
And I watch all of them until I run out, and then I might even watch something else.
Yep. I will say more drone shots. Those are dope. Show off the campus even more.
Yes.
It's sick.
Amen.
A lot of people were talking about Syvion Wilkerson. We're not sleeping on him, one. And I'll tell you this. Neely has said that he has been popping off runs since day one.
Yep.
He's going to factor in. I don't know if Coach Flea, I guess, just forgot about him. He was talking about him literally the question before. He gave out his top 4, so maybe he just kind of slipped his mind. But he's going to factor in as well.
And we're not sleeping on Charlie Offerdahl either. So the room is stacked.
Yep. What's up, David?
But
nice
someone had a
you
great point that Syvion came in against the 8-ball at Jackson State too.
Right.
And worked his way all the way up to being the starter.
And he's a younger guy, I think, too. Like, he doesn't need to see the field as much as we'd want to, but like
he's been around a bit. So I don't know how much eligibility he has left, but I don't think he's like a grad transfer.
No, he's not a grad transfer. Listed as a sophomore on the roster.
Wow.
So
what do they have Shilo listed at on that roster?
I'd imagine a senior, graduate student.
Okay.
What's up, Jamel? Where can you see the Snelson video? What channel was that?
It's Colorado Football.
Colorado Football?
Colorado Football is the name of the channel.
Time for Shedeur helmet can? That would be sick.
Oh, please.
Give us that.
Yes.
Lamar with the super chat. Do you think Stoutmire gets a starter's look? I don't know about starters, but I think after that, I'd say we're 5 deep at corner. Travis, Cormani, Jaquez, Omarion, and Kendrick. He'd probably be the next guy for me.
Yep.
He's a freshman, though. I mean, who knows? He could just show up on the field on third downs or something and play a role.
Yep. He's going to play.
All right.
So that was my question, because J-Dot says Shilo actually has 2 years of eligibility left, even though he's a grad student.
Well, that's the thing with the COVID year and all that stuff. Like, guys can graduate and you can have multiple years of eligibility.
I hope he has 2 years of eligibility.
It'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
How many years does Jimmy have? I don't know. He's listed as a junior on the roster.
That could mean anything.
I think he's played the last 3 seasons.
Oregon has a dude, playing his 8th year?
Someone does, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a tight end or something.
Tight end at Oregon.
Yeah.
Maybe he transferred for all I know. But
Travis J listed at cornerback on the roster, they say, yep. And then Jaquez listed as safety as well.
I know. So interesting.
Yep, make sure you guys check out the roster every now and then, because
we need I think, does Adam have the eligibility chart?
he hasn't updated since May, last I saw.
That's what we need. We need an updated eligibility chart.
Let me see. I'll pull it up right now.
Just listed by how many years does a guy have left?
May 16th. So who are we asking about? Travis J is listed as having 2 years left. I don't know if Shiloh's on here yet. He's not on here. Who else were we talking about?
Luis says he thinks Shane Cokes also has an additional year of eligibility.
He does. He's listed as a technical junior.
Wow.
And he was a graduate transfer as well. Who was the other graduate transfer we were just talking about?
I don't know.
Syvion's not on here, so yeah.
A lot of guys.
A lot of guys. I don't know who we have tomorrow for media.
Have they said? They haven't said yet?
Let me pull it up right now. I do know it's a longer practice tomorrow. We have Charles Kelly tomorrow. No, this is from last week. Sorry.
Come on, Jake.
I got it. Right here. We have... Doesn't say.
All right. To be determined.
Oh, I'm kidding. It's Andre Hart. I'm sorry. There's a lot of information for tomorrow, man.
Can you read?
I can read, I think. Andre Hart tomorrow and players. No media on Wednesday, so we will just be here on Wednesday. They're not even practicing. It's just a classroom day, Wednesday.
Cool.
And then Thursday we have media, and then Friday's media day with Coach Prime.
Travis said, didn't see you have a 28-year-old kicker a few years back. He was older than that, and he was in his 30s. But it wasn't because of like eligibility. It was because, well, I guess it's still always about eligibility, but he came from Australia.
Yeah.
So like his clock never started.
Right. I mean, like Brandon Weeding, guys who go to the MLB draft and stuff and come back. Yeah, it's all weird. Do we answer that question at the bottom? Can we answer that?
Think so.
There will be a scrimmage this Saturday.
You think so?
I think so.
I think so too.
Stay tuned. That's it. Great show. We'll be back tomorrow. Let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.